everyone, it's Alex. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. So today I have 5 palettes that I'm quickly reviewing for you and ranking them at the same time. Typically these type of videos I have been doing during the summertime. I've mentioned before in the past that it seems like the summertime is like my Christmas. That's when the palettes that attract me the most come out, are released, and I like to try them out and use them. I actually do not fall for a lot of palettes throughout the whole entire year. Seems like it's this time. So I have 5 palettes that I've been playing around with for about the last month and a half, and I'm here to rank them and share with you guys quick review swatches of everything of these 5 palettes here. But first, before we get into it, if you're new to my channel, welcome to the familia. My name is Alejandra. I'm an eyeshadow enthusiast with a dash project pan. If that is something that interests you, subscribe, join us. And now without further ado, let's get on with these 5 palettes. Now, as I've mentioned, these are just 5 palettes that I've been trying out. These are not ranking in any specific way. These are just 5 palettes that it so happened that have been together this time frame. It's not that I'm ranking these because I feel like they are the lowest or not out of my whole entire collection. Is just within these 5 palettes. These 5 palettes, even though I have one that is the number 5, which is my least out of the 5, does not necessarily mean I do not like the palette or I regret purchasing it. It just falls as number 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 within these 5. And I hope you guys understand that. I don't want you guys to take these reviews or this specific ranking as if this is my least favorite out of my whole entire collection. It's not that at all. It's just amongst these 5. So I'm going to share with you guys the 5, and obviously I'll start with number 5, which is my least out of all 5, up to my number 1. So let's start out with the number 5, and that actually goes to the Flower Beauty Jungle Lights palette. This palette I was able to get off of Ulta's website. It was sold out for quite some time. This was actually purchased by me back in August. I wanted to try it out. It came back on sale. It was like buy one, get one half off kind of sale. And I had a few points and gift cards and things. So I ended up getting this for a lot cheaper than what it was. I believe this is about an $18 palette. You get 6 eyeshadows in here, pretty large eyeshadow pans, and these are considered creamy, blendable texture, intense color payoff. I shared with you guys on Instagram a post with the swatches, and as well as obviously I'm going to share with you guys today. As you guys can see from these eyeshadows, the reason why this ranks number 5 is actually because the formula is a little bit tricky with this. This is super pigmented, but the catch with these eyeshadows is if you use these dry and put them on your lids, you're gonna get that textured, crepey eyeshadow look. I use these dry and it's so thick in formula. It's very, very thick that when you put it on your eyes, it drags and then it sticks to your eyelids. You're getting patches of very, very intense foiled look, and then it blends out. So you got to keep like rubbing your eye, and you don't want to rub this delicate part of your eye. So how I found to use these the best is by wetting the eyeshadow. So I found that using a brush was not picking up the color payoff of this is with my finger. If I wet my finger and then rub into the actual eyeshadow and then put it on my eyelid, it just blends like a dream. It is smooth and beautiful as it looks like in the pan. If you wet a brush and you do the same, it should pick it up as well. Dry, I would not recommend these at all. It just looks so bad. Now, because I have oily eyelids, throughout the day, it looked better on my eyelids because I have oily eyelids. If you have dry eyelids, don't wear these dry, wear these wet. And that's the one reason why this one is number 5 versus a little bit higher, because I found the formula to be super thick and you gotta wear them a specific way. Other than that, the colors are stunning. They're beautiful, they're stunning. They remind me a lot of Give Me Glow Cosmetics eyeshadows, but those are a lot better in formula than these. You're very, very thick in their formula. So this ranks number 5. I still think it's great. It's just very tricky to play around with and very thick in its formula. Number 4 goes to my Nomad Studio 54 eyeshadow palette. This is a multi-chrome disco shadow palette. Now, again, I posted on my Instagram a picture of this with swatches as well as you're going to see it on the screen. This is number 4 solely because there's only 4 eyeshadows. So I have to have both of these palettes need companion palettes. You can't just use these on their own. So this is such a beautiful formula. I reviewed their Tokyo palette last year and they had a bottom row of this type of formula, and I had said if they came out with a palette just with those, I would purchase it, and here it is. I wish they would have came out with more colors, but overall these are beautiful. These again work best when they're wet. You could still use them dry with a glitter glue and you still get the same color payoff. They're beautiful as toppers, but if you wet them and put them over your bare lid, you're gonna get the most color payoff. You actually get the color you see here, plus a shifting dimension to it. Obviously they're multi-chrome, so you're getting a shifting dimension to your eyelids. Beautiful on their own, but they're also as beautiful as a topper on your lids for a sparkle. If you have them dry, they look more of a sparkle. If you put them on wet, you see more of the duochrome-ness, if that's even a word, to these eyeshadows. Beautiful, absolutely love these. Only reason why this one ranks lower is because it's only 4 of them, and I do have to bring in something else to work with these, but these are beautiful. Number 3 goes to my Sample Beauty, the Prodigy Palette Jewel Toned Edition. This is my first time trying this eyeshadow brand, never tried it before, and I saw this palette and it just drew me in with the actual jewel tone colors to this. Now, I've never heard of this brand. I never tried it, so I only purchased this one, and I purchased it blindly, not knowing anyone else that had tried this brand. So I went in with it and gave it a shot, and I gotta tell you, I really like it. It's number 3 in this category. There are hits and misses in this eyeshadow palette, I will tell you that. This blue is very deceiving. I put it on my eyelids, and I went to go blend it out, and it literally blew away, and nothing was left on my eyelids. I packed it on to try to blend out the edges, and it blew away, and it did nothing for my eyelids. The only way I found that eyeshadow would work is if you're using a cream base for it to stick to, some sort of tacky base for it to stick to, but then you gotta be careful when you blend it, because it'll blend away into nothingness. With that said though, I will tell you, all the other shadows, beautiful. I did not have any trouble with any other shadows. These oranges are ridiculously pigmented. This yellow was beautiful. All of these were stunning. And there's different types of formulas in here. You're getting your mattes, you're getting your metallic-y foils right here. Then you're getting these that are the same type of formula that I would say as these are. They're thicker. You could see that it's more, my fingers were densely in there. As you can clearly see in this palette where my fingers, you could really see that I had to, it like dips in there because you're getting, it's like a thicker formula. So these two I would say is very similar to this formula. But then you're getting this shadow and this shadow here, and even somewhat this shadow, somewhat. It's like a hybrid of this shadow and these. These remind me of like the ColourPop Super Shock shadow, where they're more of a topper, they feel wet, and they're not very thick in color payoff. They're more of a topper. You can see it right there on my thumb. How it's just a sparkle, but it gives you a different type of look on your lid. So you can do a whole look with this and then top them with either one of these two, and you're getting an even more dimensional look. You're getting more of a sparkle. It has no fallout because it's more of a wet texture that it sticks to your eyelids, and you get no fallout. It stays on all day, and it even kind of blends in with whatever color you have at the bottom for it to take that sparkle within. So say for instance I was wearing a red burgundy eye and I'd place one of these two on top, more so this one right here, because this is more of like a neutral color. This has more of a greenish tint to it, but it would actually take the color of the base, so it would look like I had reddish sparkle on top, like it's not glitter. I can't say it's glitter. It's more like when you put on a Super Shock shadow. So I thought that was very interesting in this palette. I love this palette. I really do, with the exception of that blue. And this one I had to pack on a little bit more, but this worked a lot better than this blue. I would say the rest of the palette worked great for me. I'm curious to see what else this brand has out there, because I thought that this was really good. With the exception of that blue, I thought the rest of it was pretty good, and I loved the color story of it. Number 2 and number 1 are from the same brand, so I'll try to go as fast as I can. This is the Give Me Glow Extra Spicy palette. This is new for this brand. This just came out this summer, and it is exactly what you see here. It is extra spicy. So you're getting a bunch of oranges and reds and spiciness in here. Now, I love the color story of this. You guys know I love these for the summer. I think this is perfect for the summer. You're getting 3 of these dimensional type, it's not dimensional, it's like a foiled look, but like for instance this one and this one have more of a sparkle to it. It's kind of like gold flecks that you purchase at Michael's. It has that in there. And then you get your orange, and then this row here and this row here are all matte. The only gripe I have with this palette is these two right here. They are different, but not different enough on the eyes for me to justify having these two reds. I think that one of these would have been perfectly fine. On camera, it might seem like this is more orange and this one. That's how they come across in a swatch as well. One is more orange based, one is more deeper red. But on the eyes, it is the same thing. You can get away with just having one of these. I would have loved to see one of these being replaced by maybe a green, some sort of green color, because when I think of jalapenos, jalapenos come in red, they're in yellow, and they're also in green. Their stem is also in green. So I would have liked some sort of like green, for instance, a green like in between, like a little bit darker than this, like a hunter green. For instance, their juicy olive palette that they have, one of those greens would have looked amazing in this palette. I think that if they would have replaced one of those two with one of these, it would have been great all around. More looks than more than a one trick pony type of palette than it is right now. I think you can get a variety of eyeshadow looks out of this, but you're staying in the same color tone. If you would have put a green in here, you would have taken this a whole different way, and it would have been more versatile than what it is now. The formula is amazing. You guys know I love the formula. I love this color story, but that's my only gripe with this. That's the only thing I'm nitpicking out of this palette. If you do not like these colors, obviously you don't purchase this, because obviously it's very red, warm, rich type of eyeshadows. My number one goes to this palette. This is their Summer Vibes palette. This is an older palette in their collection, one of the very first palettes that they had come out with, but I skipped out on it because I found it to be too expensive for what it was. At the time, it was up in the $54 range. It came with like a Z palette where you could pop out the shadows. Recently, they redid the whole packaging of this palette, and they just made them permanent inside a palette and basically dropped the price down by a little bit over $20. So I only paid like 30 some dollars for this palette, and I found that to be reasonable for this palette. So this is what this one looks like. And you guys can see that it is summer vibes all the way. I think this is stunning. It is beautiful. I love this. I'm loving this blues I can use. You're getting warmer tones here. These colors, this yellow. Some of these mattes are not the same formula as others. For instance, this one, and this one are a lot softer. So if you dig your finger in, you can actually see that yellow. I've only used this a couple times, but it looks so beat up because the formula is so soft, super soft, where it just picks up so much product. So you have to be careful with these three. Maybe even this one, I can't remember, but I know it's definitely with these three. I have to be very careful even with swatching them. You get some browns in here if you want to. You're getting these two neutral shades. This one's a lot lighter. This is a lot more deeper in tone, a peachy duochromy gold shade here. It's very beautiful. Love these. Absolutely love everything about this palette. I think it is beautiful. That is definitely my number one palette. So I would say that this one out of all five that I tried is my favorite one, is definitely my favorite one. There was a few that had asked me to compare because real quick, you thought that some of these shadows were very similar to some of these. So I'm going to swatch the ones that look similar in person because I know the camera may be distorting the color a little bit. So I'm going to swatch the few that I think you may think they are similar, but in all honesty, I don't see too much similarities. Maybe two shadows, to be honest with you. I think the Summer Vibes has its different theme versus the extra spicy one. So I'm going to swatch those for you and share with you guys. So I'm going to start out with this first color. So I swatched the color Coconut Slushy, which is up here. This color Fireworks, and the closest one that I saw would be Ghost Pepper right here. And as you guys can see, it's actually not. This is Ghost Pepper, this is Fireworks, and this is Coconut Slushy. Coconut Slushy has brown. This Fireworks has that peach into it, and then the Ghost Pepper in the extra spicy is very yellow white base. So it's actually not similar by any means. And they actually do look very different on the eyes as well. The other similarity I saw was this color right here in the Summer Vibes, which is Peach Snow Cone. And then obviously this peachy one, which is the Spicy Peach Martini in the extra spicy. So here you have Peach Snow Cone from Summer Vibes, and here you have Spicy Peach Martini from the Extra Spicy. This is definitely more pink based, and this one is a lot more strawberry red based. So they are different as well. You can see that right there. So the last two shadows I'm going to share with you guys are the Yellow Orange, which is right here, Mango Martini from Summer Vibes, and this color right here, Orange Soda Pop. And you might think that they're similar to these two down here, which is Habanero and Flaming Hot down here. So I'll share with you guys that. The first one right here is the Orange Soda Pop from, no, I'm sorry, this is the Mango Margarita from Summer Vibes. This is the Habanero from Extra Spicy. You can see that this is a lot more yellow based than the one in the Summer Vibes. And then again, this one is the Orange Soda Pop from Summer Vibes. And this is the Flaming Hot from Extra Spicy palette. This is a lot more red based, this is a lot more orange based. So these two are definitely different. This is the most that I could see you can get away with, but this is definitely more orange and this is more red. So out of this palette, I could see maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 shadows looking similar to this palette here, but they're definitely different in their undertones. And depending on how you pair them with other shadows is how you're gonna end up with a look. So again, I feel like this one is a lot more red-orange based, and this one has a lot more Summer Vibes, a lot more white-based tone type of shadows to these than more red based, if that makes any sense. So they're not exactly, I compared the ones that I felt like were the most that you could see, but you could see such a difference in between both of them. Looking at them side by side, just me staring at them, looking at them side by side, I can't really tell. Like I could see myself doing 2 separate looks with these and nothing really mixing, unless I'm sitting here mixing shades. Like if I mix these 2 shades together on my lid to maybe come up with one of these shadows in the center, you know what I mean? Like if you're taking it that far, maybe you can get similar looks. But as far as just looking at them side by side, apples to apples, oranges to oranges, they're not exactly the same. They are different in undertones, so you can end up with 2 separate palettes and 2 palettes that'll give you different looks within them. So there you guys have it. Those are my 5 palettes that I recently have been trying for the last month and a half, ranking them. Again, I love all these palettes. I've been using all these, mixing some of these together within each other. I've been having so much fun with these. If I end up getting more palettes and I don't do individual reviews of them, I'll do another video like this. I have a whole bunch of them that I did last year. If you're interested, I'll try to remember to link those up in the iCards for you guys. Thank you again for all of your support. I'll put more videos right over here for your enjoyment. Until then, bye guys.